Hello everyone, and now welcome to game 2 in this best of 3 series between ZDR versus WFZ. WFZ spawning as the red undead player here at what I'll call the 11 o'clock position. Meanwhile, down over here we see ZDR spawning as the teal orc. This is going to be relatively close spawns here, and I'm not quite sure what to make of this. I believe both of these players really want to be able to creep freely, as we're already looking at the peon, which is going to be scouting out his opponent in just a moment. So he knows exactly where his opponent is. He saw the blight, doesn't need to waste any more time, as the good luck have fun is now underway. Blade Master should be popping out here in just a moment. Meanwhile, the Death Knight should be rather late, as we saw in the previous game, where the Graveyard was placed down first in favor of getting some Crypt Fiends. So it is going to be Crypt Fiends first, as the Blade Master may try to make his way off over here, take down this Ogre Magi, and pick up the very, very nice item. All right, let's see what exactly is that. Ogre Magi taking a little bit of damage. There's an ensnare on the Grunt. Ogre Magi going to get focused down here in just a little bit. Item will be picked up, and the Blade Master is going to be a little bit worse for wear, but should be able to pick up a big item there. As you can see, the Blade Master does pick up a Pendant of Energy, rather useful, as he is now already heading back home. He needs that Voodoo Lounge, and I am surprised he does not have a... Oh, no, Voodoo Lounge is down over here. There we have it. And the Blade Master will already be healing. All right, already underway. The Blade Master should be healing. Not quite sure why he... Okay, wait. It looks like he's actually taking damage. So he actually used a charge there. Not 100% sure. Okay, yeah, he's at 91, 92. There we go. Now healing back up, picking up another healing salve there, and now healing up the Grunt. Back over here, you can see that WFZ has opted to go for creeping as well. He's going after this Ogre Magi creep camp, and more importantly, he's going to be able to pick up this Rune of the Watcher. The big question now is whether or not he's going to maintain enough hit points by the time the Blade Master gets over. Blade Master is right there. He is spotted because of that Rune of the Watcher, and now the Death Knight and the Blade Master are kind of going at it. Death Knight, however, does have a Ring of Regeneration, giving him a little bit more hit points, and there's that Unholy Aura as well, so he should be able to get back onto Blight without a problem. Does he have a Cold Tower? That is another big question there, as he is still running around in circles, and without Boots of Speed, he is going to be a little bit slower. But then again, the Blade Master does not have Boots of Speed either. That Death Knight regenerating hit points while off of Blight because of that Ring of Regeneration is absolutely huge, as he is still wandering around in circles. Meanwhile, back off to the north, the Blade Master has opted to go after the Giant Sea Turtle instead. Wastes a Death Coil. I would not have even tried to go for it. As you can see, the Death Knight now going after the Blade Master here. Blade Master taking a little bit of damage. Skeletal minions just up in the front there, as we see a little bit more healing. And the Blade Master wastes another healing salve charge. That is actually going to be a problem, as the Blade Master cannot continue to use those healing salves without regenerating at least 100 hit points. Now, I know it does not show, but there is in fact Blight all right here, allowing that Death Knight to regenerate a fair amount of hit points. Meanwhile, the Grunt is now back off to the north. The Death Knight should consider standing back on Blight once more, as that does give him a fairly good regeneration, as the Blade Master is still just within sight. That Blade Master always a constant threat to that Death Knight up until that Lich is in play. Frost Armor and the slow from Frost Nova really shuts down any attempt at the Blade Master trying to snipe another unit. All right, there you go. The Blade Master getting in a little bit of damage, but not much once again. So far, things are looking fairly even, as we're looking at WFZ and ZDR. ZDR sitting at 29 supply, meanwhile, WFZ sitting at 28. Both of them hoping to get more experience, but both of them also really just trying to keep and maintain business. Let's take a look. Is it going to be a Shadow Hunter? Yes, it is going to be a Shadow Hunter this time around. The previous game without a Shadow Hunter was a bit of a head scratcher for me, since the Shadow Hunter does keep that Blade Master alive for so long. Yes, Stomp does deal damage and slow down the damage from those Crypt Fiends as you do stun them for a fairly long time. The problem is that you have really no way of maintaining hit points without healing wave between those healing pots. Spirit Lodge about halfway done here. Let's take a look. Sailtoe Minion doing a little bit of superficial damage onto the Altar of Storms. Meanwhile, back off to the north, the Death Knight is once again in good health, as good as good health of an undead player, or as an undead can be, as the Death Knight now looks to venture back. Now, the Blade Master, even though he is semi-containing the undead, I don't really think he's utilizing his or using his time all that well. He isn't gaining that much experience, and as soon as we see that Lich march on out, things are going to get much easier for the undead. I'm surprised that the Blade Master has not gotten to level 3 at this point, and then once the Blade Master gets to level 3, he can then freely harass the undead until the undead gets a shade. That's not what we're looking at here. It may stay at a level 2 Blade Master, as the Shadow Hunter really needs to get to level 2 in order to get not only Hex, but Healing Wave. We saw how important Healing Wave would have been in that previous fight, as the Blade Master had a potion of greater healing when he died at the end of the game. Now, Death Knight making his way over. Skeletal Minions are coming over as well, and the Death Knight may get a free level 7 item here. Potion of greater healing or a potion of mana are both possible, and that is always an issue. If you take these very, very important Gargantuan Sea Turtle items, things can go from good to bad very fast. As we now are taking a look inside here, there's the quick Hex. Not sure who's going to get the experience. Blade Master gets the item, but does not get the experience. Meanwhile, the Death Knight... never mind. It looks like the Orc actually got both, not only the experience, but the item there. Nicely played, as a Shadow Hunter very, very close to level 2. Blade Master still sitting at level 2. He is going to be healing back up with some healing salves and a clarity potion, as the Shadow Hunter now working some magic against these Ogre Warriors off over here. Now, as the units will be falling, that Shadow Hunter will get to level 2 in just a moment. Potion of invulnerability, 15 seconds of invulnerability on a Blade Master. Always a very, very scary proposition, not preposition, as the Blade Master now still walking around. All right, meanwhile, let's take a look. Ogre Lord now making his way off to the north. Shadow Hunter is right there, getting some easy damage onto the unit, as the Blade Master now gets a good surround on the Ogre Lord. Ogre Lord confused for a moment, and now will end up falling. Hood of Cunning, agility and intelligence, very nice for that Blade Master, as the Blade Master gets a little bit of extra damage, even though he doesn't have Claws of Attack +6. Taking a look at WFZ, he is continuing to move over to take down these giant sea turtles and hoping to get those all-important Gargantuan Sea Turtle items. Wand of Mana Stealing, always very helpful, as you can deny a heal from a primary unit and perhaps get off a necessary spell of your own. Death Knight will be very close to level 3 here at the end of this. Oh, wow. I was off by 3 experience. So, yes, he does get to level 3 and now has 4 charges of mana stealing. So that is going to be a very big deal when the Blade Master, or more importantly, the Shadow Hunter, thinks that he has a healing wave ready to go. He is not, and without a clarity potion, he's going to find himself in a little bit of trouble. Tome of Experience now left behind. Shadow Hunter sitting at level 3. Level 3 Shadow Hunter, a Pit Lord now added as well. So level 2 Lich, level 3 Death Knight, no Dark Ranger, Pit Lord now coming in, and this may be that Howl of Terror, Devour magic strategy that we have seen oh so often. Shadow Hunter, Healing Wave to stay alive. Spirit Link now coming across, now just trying to run for the hills, as he is running as quickly as possible. We are going to be looking at a quick ensnare as the Spirit Walker quickly gets taken down. He was in the ethereal form, taking extra damage from not only the Death Coil and the Frost Nova, but the attacks from that Destroyer. Shadow Hunter still sitting at level 3, regenerating mana and hit points, looking to make their way to the bottom side of the map. Blade Master is right here, ready to go. We see the Orb of Corruption on the Lich. -5 armor is within the realm, as a Crypt Fiend quickly gets stunned, only to burrow himself, and now once again he is fine. WFZ is starting to put his claws into ZDR. ZDR looking for a way to deal some damage, but he hasn't found that exactly. what is going to be happening here. Obsidian Statue just doing some superficial damage to the Voodoo Lounge. But now it is going to quickly take more damage here as it is going to try and get away. A quick purge once again, preventing him from moving. And there's another purge again. This could be a dead destroyer here in a second. Are we going to get a death coil? Yes, we do. But the Blade Master is still having a rather easy time against this destroyer. Meanwhile, back over here, there's another death coil. That's a lot of mana to be lost as the destroyer stays alive. The Blade Master unable to finish the target and now attempting to take down this Voodoo Lounge. All right, the rest of the units, perhaps they didn't get the memo that their base is under attack, needs to figure out a way to deal more damage, and you can see another Death Coil saving a low hit point Crypt Fiend. That Death Knight has used a Wand of Necromancy charge, may have used 3 of them already. He does have a Scroll of Healing, so I'm assuming that he actually just purchased that instead. There is that Devour Magic off of the Howl of Terror to deal additional damage to all of the grunts, and you can see that the destroyers are staying alive and staying strong. Grunt after grunt is falling. Spirit Walkers trying to finish off some of these units, but this is just not looking good at all. Destroyers are going to have a field day with all of these units here, as none of these units can really escape. Perhaps the Crypt Fiend. Are we going to get an ensnare? Or sorry, a burrow. We may see a burrow here in just a moment. Yes, we have the burrow, but a critical strike still goes down as the burrow was not yet done. An ensnare back onto the destroyer. The destroyer now absorbing a bit of damage. Again, the Blade Master wanting to finish it off. Are we going to get a death coil? It does not look like it, as, wait, the Blade Master now switching targets onto the Lich. Lich instead grabs the Scroll of Town Portal, and the destroyer hides just above the tree line. And ZDR, his inability to focus down a unit leads him to an alive Lich and an alive destroyer that both could have been his if he had just committed to a target and committed to a target earlier. Blade Master looking for those low hit point units, has not found them yet. That destroyer down to 100 hit points, looking to perhaps devour some magic. Are we going to see a Howl of Terror? We should be looking at a Howl of Terror, and there you see the destroyer now regenerating hit points already back up to 200 and going strong. Ogre Lord going to get taken down. Tome of Experience left behind. Pit Lord now with Brilliance Aura is going to really cause some more problems for the rest of the units here. Meanwhile, the Blade Master sitting at level 4 could perhaps try and take down some of these buildings and stop the mining. No one has taken expansions as of yet. We are about 7 minutes out from the mines being completely emptied, and at that point it's going to be up to one of the players to set up an expansion and properly defend it without overstretching themselves. Blade Master at level 4, Shadow Hunter sitting at level 3, almost at level 4, Death Knight sitting at 3, Lich sitting at 3, and the Pit Lord sitting at 2. Blade Master is coming in right here. There you go, going after an easy target. There's the ensnare. It looks like the Obsidian Statue will fall. There goes one. Level 4, or now on that Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter going after another Obsidian Statue. The Obsidian Statue going to get taken down once again. Devour Magic across all of the units here. So either your Spirit Walker, excuse me, your Troll Berserkers are dealing less damage, or they're taking more damage because of the Destroyer's Devour Magic off of those Troll Berserkers. You can see that -7 damage, that Howl of Terror, such an annoyance to deal with, as that Pit Lord now gets to level 3. All right, Pit Lord cleaning up the remaining Orc units, as ZDR now retreating with his tail between his legs. He is not in a good spot at all, and he's not going to come out without any bruises here. As you can see, the Blade Master now down to 70 hit points, but still regenerating strongly. Shadow Hunter, Troll Berserkers, all ready to go. Spirit Walker's army is now trying to just be bolstered up a bit. You can see 311 gold and 49 over 60 compared to 46 over 70 and 136 gold. Those Kodo beasts really haven't been able to do nearly as much. Keeping those Kodo beasts alive while they're devouring a target is absolutely key, but always harder said than done, since they need to get into those front lines in order to really deal any serious or be able to get any of those units. All right, let's take a look. Kodo Beast now out on the field. You can see the Berserkers +5 damage, no additional upgrades at all. Blade Master, Shadow Hunter right here. There's a quick burrow, and with no Dust of Appearance, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability dropped. Blade Master may try and pick up a Dust of Appearance, or maybe go straight after that Obsidian Statue. Is going to go after it. There is a quick purge, and the Obsidian Statue, now stopped in his tracks, is in serious trouble. The Blade Master, if he gets another free Obsidian Statue, catching a unit in transit, that will be huge. There it goes. There goes one Obsidian Statue, perhaps picking up a Dust of Appearance and going after the Crypt Fiend now is his follow-up play, and that is pretty much going to be 7 supply all of a sudden lost in a moment's notice. All right, where's that Dust of Appearance? There it is. Shadow Hunter is nearby and will finish off that burrowed Crypt Fiend. There it goes. Blade Master still looking strong. Bat Riders now being added to bolster the army. Pit Lord now making its way out as well. The Pit Lord is sitting at level 3, getting extremely close to level 4, as the Lich already is at level 4. And that is some very, very scary auras on that Lich. True Shot aura, Brilliance aura, Unholy aura. So I do more damage, I move faster, I gain more mana, and I heal faster. All of those things just adds up to a very, very scary proposition, as the Pit Lord now able to fend off the attack with the Death Knight and that Lich. Kodo Beast now making their rounds. Expansion set up by ZDR. He needs to get that expansion set up and running if he hopes to come out of this. Meanwhile, the gold mines are starting to run out of gold. We're about down to 3.5 minutes at the most, 190 seconds or so. As we're looking at the Raiders and the remaining Troll Berserkers looking to find a way to press forward. All right, Great Hall down over here. We're looking back off to the north. Kodo Beast, Troll Berserkers now making their way in as well. And this may be some quick destruction, as the ghouls now getting taken down again. Are we going to see a crypt now get taken out? No, we are not. Instead, the Death Knight appears once more. Where is that Howl of Terror? We should be looking at that here in just a moment. Blade Master still doing tremendous damage, as the Howl of Terror quickly turns into Destroyer Energy, or Destroyer Mana and Destroyer Hit Points. So far, this fight is still raging on here, as constant disenchants from the Orc to try and do something there. There is still more Devour magic here, and you can see that those Troll Berserkers are simply not going to be able to do any real serious damage to those Destroyers, as they're constantly able to Devour magic and remove that debuff for hit points and additional damage. Pit Lord sitting at level 4. Lich sitting at level 4, Death Knight sitting at level 5, and things are starting to unravel for ZDR. ZDR does not have enough gas in the tank to really turn this around any longer, losing units slowly without really gaining anything forward. That is just exponentially going to cause problems, as all of a sudden you're going to take a look at the Undead army, and they're not going to lose a single unit in a fight just because of sheer numbers, while the Orc army loses a whole bunch. Shadow Hunter now in attempts to run, able to get away with 191 hit points. Lich does not have enough for a Frost Nova just quite yet, but is quickly getting there. Potion of Invulnerability, however, now used as the Shadow Hunter, down to 400 some odd hit points, and now perhaps going to go after the remaining units. Shadow Hunter now currently fine, as we're looking at perhaps the Blade Master finishing off an Abomination off to the side. Abomination, or Blade Master now sitting at level 5. Destroyer is now getting taken down, and Quick Ensnares trying to come back into play as well, as the Blade Master should be going after these Obsidian statues to prevent any more healing. All right, there's the Dust of Appearance, and the Blade Master may be able to finish off. No, unable to finish it off, as the Death Coil quickly goes down on the Destroyer. Right when he does turn into a biological unit. And there goes another Death Coil. The Blade Master just not getting lucky enough with those critical hits, as we finally see one go down. Death Knight, really low on mana, needs to consider what he's going to be doing next with that once he does level, as the Death Knight now at 80 mana and rising. All right, an expansion for expansion 4, ZDR is quickly going to get destroyed here. The Death Knight will end up getting level 5 off of this creep camp. Pit Lord and the Lich will not gain any experience, but a level 5 Death Knight is nothing to laugh at. Level 3 Death Coil, a 300 hit point nuke or a 600 hit point heal is always something that's rather scary and difficult to deal with. All right, there's that Howl of Terror. Are we going to see that Devour Magic? Yes, we are, as the remaining Troll Berserkers use or get a healing scroll to try and stay alive, but I think that will pretty much be it. There is the Shadow Hunter falling, and the Blade Master is all that is left. Blade Master now surrounded, even though a 300 critical strike did go down. The army of the Undead is far too strong, and I think this is going to be it. Potion of Invulnerability by the Lich. Things are not going well at all for the Orc. Shadow Hunter now down, and with that said and done, it looks like the Blade Master will be said and done as we end this to a 2-0 lead for WFZ. Now, I did cast a bonus game, so please watch that. One of my anti-spoiler games that I've been promising to do for quite some time, even though I don't get to do it all that often. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.